Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. America's Top Hat. Beer from Canada. 5E Baron. This is their Chateau Marmont. This is their American IPA. IPA American. 7% alcohol by volume. Mosaic is the main hop in here at 45%. There's a fly in here. Sultana at 35 and Columbus at 20. Let's put that nice little graph down there. I appreciate it. And that's all we get. Date in the can is October 24th, which puts us about 2 weeks, just a hair over 2 weeks old. Comes courtesy of the brewery and my boy, Jacob. American IPA. What does that mean in today's world? I don't know. Non-hazy IPA is how I would assume it's going to be, and that's where it looks like it's coming on. So maybe they would say West Coast, so maybe it's a traditional American IPA. I don't know. Likewise, it's really cool. I still can't put Chateau Marmont in my brain. I don't know why I know that, and it's bothering me. I'll look it up after the review, but I dig it. I dig their art design on the cans, and as far as beer goes, it definitely looks the part of old school West Coast IPA. Sans, it has a bit of haze to it. It's not hyper clear. Pinky finger, just south of khaki color. It had that rich amber kind of color to it, so it definitely looks a part of, like, if not West, probably more specifically like a Midwest, Chicago, old school Chicago. Chill wave, Two Hearted kind of vibes to it. So it's good nose. And that's where we're landing. Is that Midwestern IPA. It's very much Two Hearted vibes on here. You're getting like a crystal malt, maybe a touch of Maris, but on the flip side of things, it comes off more old school because they talk about like Mosaic. Mosaic, and it's like, for me, it's like a Mosaic Simcoe Galaxy mix. This is Mosaic Sultana Columbus. Mosaic and Sultana definitely can lean old school. Sultana I'm not all that familiar with, but it comes off as one of those, like I said, keep saying, like Two Hearted, chill wavy kind of beers. Maybe even like a touch of honey malt, just for the sake of adding something to it. But it has this nice rich malt base to it. So you're not dealing with a lot of dextrose. There's not a ton of brew sugars here, but at the same time, there's a bit of hoppiness in here. It's a little tannic, it's a little tea-like, but then it's a little old school sea hoppy too. Really curious as to what the taste is going to bring. Let's dive in. Cheers, y'all. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it's trying to be. That's what I was curious about, like, American IPA. I'm not a big, I couldn't sit here and dictate or repeat BJCP guidelines, nor would I want to. But I'm curious to see what that is, because whether they're going strictly by that book. Get out of here, fly. Why is there a fly? It's like 40 degrees outside. Actually, I know, because it's not 40 degrees in here, and all the flies are trying to live. Anyway. Not to mention I had my door open with no screen on. So I was doing shit all day, so I let all the flies. Anyway, Massive Fly reviews. It's really tasty. It is really tasty. It has a staunch, sturdy bitterness. Very old school sea hoppy. That Columbus is very much, your Seas, Cascade, Columbus, Chinook. Very much the leader in the clubhouse in this beer. Mosaic is probably propping that up a little bit, adding a little bit of a little bit of kind of like a, I don't want to go heavy tropical fruit, more like melon, more like cantaloupe, overripened cantaloupe, but dial down the sweetness a bit. And it really has this nice balance between it, with the malt comes off with this nice rich beefy maltiness without being overly sweet. At 7%, it's an IPA. It has a sweetness to it, but it's not over the top. It's not under attenuated or anything like that. But on the hoppy side of things, it's definitely showing its old school roots. I'm really curious about Sultana now. I'll have to look into it, see what kind of stuff it expresses. But for me, this is very much like, almost like a Beester weedy bittering, with a little bit of tomato stockiness, and then on the other side of things, you have that little cantaloupe maybe. It's an over-ripened cantaloupe peach, but with a more dialed back sweetness, because stuff once it gets over-ripened, it's quite sweet. That's where that kind of disconnect is. But I think it's really tasty. It's a style of beer I just don't drink a ton of anymore. Couple different reasons. If I'm gonna jump around the IPA world, I like me some hazies, but I like me some, West Coast, and just that Midwest IPA, even though I have a soft spot in my heart for it, it's not something I typically go after. And the ABV definitely creeps in there. Anytime I see something over 6.5%, I kind of shy away to a certain extent, at least from IPAs. So it's a breath of fresh air because it's not something I've had in quite some time. And honestly, a style I should probably drink a little bit more of. Just don't pick it up as much. So maybe I'll do some classics. I've been doing a master beer review classics. Maybe I'll pick up some Chill Wave and stuff like that, and dip into that kind of world and see where that stuff kind of lands. Because I haven't seen that beer in forever. I don't even know if it's still available out here. Anyway, I think it's quite tasty, very expressive on the bittering hop side of things, beast or weedy, tomato stocky. On the fruity side of things, overripened but undersweetened, melon, stone fruit. A nice mouthfeel to it. It's not going to be confused with today's turbid hazies, but has this really nice kind of, not lush, not silky, but just a purposeful, full mouthfeel for its style. And done and done. Is this one of the better American IPAs I've had? It's like a default to the top. If I kind of cast a very wide net, it's one of the better ones I've had. Is it Mount Rushmore status of all time? Probably not. But it's definitely in the conversation, and it's definitely a worthy beer and a very tasty beer. I'm glad I'm drinking it. Let's put it that way. Value availability, no idea. Y'all Montrealans or Quebecians. Is that what they're called? Quebecites? Quebecites? I don't know. I'm making stuff up now. Let me know and leave you with if you like what we like this. The Midwest stuff, man. You know, we just talked about it. Have you been to the brewery? Have you had their beers? Have you had this beer? What did you think of this beer? Especially if you dig on those Midwestern kind of style of beers. Well, I just want to murder shit out of this fly. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying some new school, old school. Hope to see you next time. Cheers, y'all.